Hi. I just wanted to make a response video to Woke with Andy about the video that she made on me, but she doesn't know it's me. Or in response to me. It's not totally on me. Anyway. The point is, this is a response to what she was saying. Um, Basically, if your gripe with what I'm saying has to do with people who are just getting on the journey. Well, I wasn't talking to people who are just getting on the journey. I was talking to people like you. I was talking to people like Kurt. I was talking to people who have been dealing with this for a long time. That's what I'm talking to specifically. Now, if the topic of conversation is switching over to people who are just getting on the journey and you're saying, "Oh, you don't know all this blah 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 stuff." Okay. Fine. Didn't say they had to. Didn't say this. It's unreasonable. You're unaware. You don't know anything. You don't have it. You don't have the awareness of anything. So, yeah, natural, normal, makes sense. Wasn't saying that. But what I am saying is that what everybody's saying to do actually is the thing that exacerbates the problem. Even if it seems to keep the twin around. It keeps them around in a way that's just not what it could be, and you know it. Not you, but like whoever's in that place. But they tell themselves they're okay with it because they want anything but their twin flame to go away, but they've convinced themselves that they're not in the desperate energy just because they're not pushing. Just that they've convinced themselves that it's not there. Also, you want to tell me about bypassing? How am I the one? Everyone else is bypassing. I'm the only one that's not, from my perspective, because I'm the only one that's willing to call things out and say things that like people don't want to hear because it's the thing that upsets their ego that they think is dead. Unfortunately. And then they go around saying stuff that just isn't true. Unfortunately, they go off into mystical and magical realms of things in their imagination. Or even if it is things that are real, how is it any different from the things that you're experiencing in your day-to-day life? If you're going to sit here and tell me that it's different, then that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. Because it's like we don't need to keep going backwards. We really don't. And I understand. We all hate that Kurt kind of like is a shyster and he like fleeced a bunch of people and like was toxic and kind of messed with the community. You know, I get that. I understand. We were all. I'm pretty sure everybody probably went through Kurt's content pipeline basically. But what I'm saying, the only reason why maybe you might be confusing it for what he's saying, or maybe confusing it for what other people have been saying, where they're talking about, oh, just, ignore the 3D, don't pay attention to the 3D, the twin flame isn't in the 3D, which is partially true, but also obviously partially not fucking true. What the fuck? No, I'm not talking about that. I'm not saying that. But it is true that they are you. Does that sound like a mystical magical? No. You're here, right? They're there, obviously, but they're also you. That's a paradox. But your mind can't comprehend that, so it's like you until that becomes a lived experience in your reality, it's impossible. It's actually not possible to sit here and do it working through the mind and try, because you can't. You just can't. You can't be in a place other than where you are experientially. So it's like you will say whatever, but in your experience, it's just not that way. So at some point, you just like, I can't keep fooling myself. And so then what do we do? Default. That's what we do in the twin flame community. We default, we go backwards and we start going back into the drama, back into the nonsense. And then, oh, because they're around, we say, that's not it. It's not it. Look, I'll just say, there's two aspects to this. There's energy and there's consciousness. The only two existential realities. Now, the thing is about that is if you're sitting here saying that anything else is like real and you're all caught up in it, just know fundamentally it's that you're identified with mind. That's what it is. Everything is downstream from that. But this is the thing, it's interesting because when you become identified with mind and you get far down enough, it actually seems like the other way around. That's what I'm saying. It's impossible. Like you can't. You have to like increase your consciousness. You have to. You can do anything you want with the energy. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You have to increase your consciousness or you'll remain confused. You'll remain stuck and stagnant. It's just true. It's just true. And you'll have to do perpetual healing. And it'll just be a constant circus. Constant circus. That you'll have to convince yourself that you don't care what happens. And you don't care how you feel. And that you're not feeling anything. And okay. Or you can get what it is that you know deep down, the thing that you want, like the thing that you want that you think you can't ask for because maybe that you think even that they'll run away because you'll push that thing, the thing that you really want. You can have that. That's how it's supposed to be. Who you really are, the larger part of yourself, 80-90% of who you are knows that. But because you're so identified with the 10% that isn't even real, it's not even real. It's just a projection of the larger part. It's just a projection of the larger part. Virtual projection. So it's in an environment where it can seem real, but it's not actually real. Like a computer environment, like a game. It's like that. I'm sure y'all have experienced that life seems to some degree to be like a game. Yes. It's true. It's true. It is like that. But also at the same time, it's not a game in the sense that things don't matter. There is an existential reality going on. There is something that matters. There is an imperative. There is a not right and wrong in the sense of like you're wrong and good and bad and morality. That's not about morality. It's about morality is like relative. It's very relative. So let's not get stuck in the weeds. Don't focus on that aspect of it. But it's like, it's not about what we're doing down here as humans. There is the whole reason why any of this is even happening. But there's an aspect of you, most of who you really are, and the most of what you are. The part that seems like it's all disconnected and seems like a lot of y'all say, "Oh, this my relationship with God." That's you, dude. It's not God. That's you. I'm just saying. I know methods to actually establish not a connection, a way to embody who you really are in this. To do the very thing that your ego says is impossible in order to perpetuate its existence. I know how to actually do that. And all I'm saying is I'm not giving your ego supports. What I'm saying just doesn't give your ego supports. That's it. And, for people who are just getting in on the journey, it's best that they hear stuff it's best that they hear this kinds of stuff, but it's best also to be given to them in a certain way because they're struggling. There's just certain parts of it that they're not able to actually hear right now, and I understand that. But my video was not aimed at those people. Now, of course, I can't control who sees this video, but I know that most of the people who are in this community have been in this shit for years. So, and they've been stuck where they're stuck right now for years. So it's like, and they may think that they're in some other place, but all they did was change their shoes, change their shirt, change their pants. They didn't take off their clothes. I'm saying, we're going buck naked, buddy. That's what it is. That's what it is. None of that stuff is real. It's not actually you. You don't need it. And even to the extent of which it is there, the degree of your realization instantly transmutes it into you because it always was you. It's just that energy was misallocated, but it's your natural resource that was meant for you to use. But through the identification of mind, it took on a different quality. It's a strange quality. I don't really. It seems like it's weird. I'm not sure how to put it. It seems like there's two people there, but there's not. It's a weird experience. I get it, but I'm trying to snap y'all awake out of it. That's it. That's all. That's really all I'm here for. So anyway, that's the video. Hope y'all have a good one. Bye.